Hey guys, this is God of Politics. I'm going to a brand new video, but before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But in today's video, I will be talking again about the 2022 Senate elections, and in this video, I'll be doing the best pickup opportunities for both sides, for both the Republicans and the Democrats. Now, this is another video that I'm making about the 2022 Senate elections. If you want me to keep making videos about future elections, just let me know whether you like this video or not down in the comments, and also suggest some new videos that I should make, because there are a lot of things to talk about, but I want to get these suggestions from you guys directly so I can make those videos. If you want me to talk more about historical events, if you want me to talk more about policy, my political views, just let me know down in the comments. But let's get right into this video. So I will start out with the best pickup opportunities for the Republicans first, and I think that the best pickup opportunity for Republicans is the state of New Hampshire. Now, I talked about the state of New Hampshire in my last video, which you should go check out. It is on my channel, and it is the state of New Hampshire. You have one-term Democrat Maggie Hassan, who was elected in 2016 very, very narrowly against Kelly Ayotte, and you only have one candidate who has announced so far, a guy named Don Bolduc, who will definitely not win if he is the candidate, but the reason I say it's the best pickup opportunity is because the Republicans have Governor Chris Sununu. He's the current governor of the state of New Hampshire, won by a ridiculous margin, is very popular, and has been shown actually to be ahead out of all the candidates that there were polled in a University of New Hampshire poll. Chris Sununu was the only guy that was actually ahead of Maggie Hassan, and he was ahead by a couple of points. I think certainly this would be a narrow race, but Chris Sununu, having the popularity as that he does as governor, and Maggie Hassan not being that popular, it is certainly one of the best pickup opportunities for the Republican Party, and there are opportunities as well, which I'll talk about in a second, but New Hampshire, in my opinion, is certainly the best, and they've got a good chance of winning it as well. The second best pickup opportunity, I would certainly say, is the state of Georgia. Georgia, I'm going to say, is the second best pickup opportunity, purely because of the fact that, it is probably going to be a year that favors the Republican Party more, and sure, both senators are Democratic. Joe Biden won the state. They were narrow wins. The biggest win was Raphael Warnock, who will be up in 2022. He won by approximately 2 percentage points, but going into 2022, if the Republicans can get a good candidate, and that's what matters for most of these races, all of these races, of course, is getting the right candidate. If the Republicans can get the right candidate, a candidate that can get similar turnout and similar margins to Trump in the rural areas while also doing better in the suburbs, because the suburbs, the Atlanta metro, I believe, makes up like 60% of Georgia's population. That's an insane number. Republicans really need to counter that by doing better in those areas, which they really struggled in the past couple of years, and they don't need to do too much better to actually beat Raphael Warnock. And really, it just depends on the candidate. They could get someone like Doug Collins to run, maybe a representative runs, although they are a bit more fringe and to the right. They were, I think all of them, objected to the electoral college results, which does not bode well for them in the suburbs. But if they can get a figure that's more moderate, can appeal more to the suburbs, this is going to be a good opportunity for them to pick up a seat. Now, the third best pickup opportunity, I'm going to say, is the state of Arizona. In the state of Arizona, you have incumbent Democrat Mark Kelly, who beat the former Senator Martha McSally in the state of Arizona in the 2020 election, and he won by a narrower margin than many people thought. Now, I had this race that leaned Democrat. I thought Mark Kelly would win by around 3 to 4 percentage points, maybe slightly more, but he only won by approximately, I think it was 2.6 percentage points. And Mark Kelly is a good candidate. He ran ahead of Joe Biden, which is something that many Democrats cannot say about the 2020 election. And he did better with Latino voters, as well as doing well with whiter voters in the suburbs, and that's what gave him the victory, particularly in Maricopa County. But he does have to run again in 2022, and the reason I say that this is a good pickup opportunities for Republicans is that despite the fact that there is a lot of division within the state party, they do still have an opportunity. Now, if they run someone like Andy Biggs or Paul Gosar, they're not going to win this race, but they need to run a figure that's more moderate. They need to run a figure that can appeal to suburban voters in Maricopa County, because rural areas really do not get much for the Republicans in the state of Arizona. They basically are offset by areas like Pima County and the Native American areas, the Navajo areas up in the Northeast. So it really all comes down to Maricopa County. It is the true bellwether, and it's very difficult to win the race without Maricopa County. Now, Can Republicans lose this race? Of course they could lose this race. I think Mark Kelly is certainly favored to win, but that's why it's not the best pickup opportunity, but rather the third best pickup opportunity, because Mark Kelly's a good candidate. He can appeal to the suburbs. There's division within the Republican Party. Those are the negatives for the Republican Party. Then you look at the positives for the Republican Party. It is a state that's traditionally Republican. They do still have a lot of voters that they can get, voters who voted for Romney and went and voted for Joe Biden and Mark Kelly. They can win back those voters, and they can get a good candidate. And I am confident that they can do those things, and that's why I'm putting it at number 3 opportunity, or the third best opportunity for a pickup. Now, the fourth best opportunity is the state of Nevada. Now, Nevada is a state that has been very stubborn for the Democrats. It's been quite stagnant. You know, you look at the 2016 election, Catherine Cortez Masto narrowly won. If you look at 2016 president, Hillary Clinton narrowly won. 2020 president, Joe Biden narrowly won. You know, we can go down the list. Of course, if you want to go back to 2016, you can see here that Catherine Cortez Masto won by 2.4 percentage points, by 0.3 percentage points less than Joe Biden. She lost the traditionally, you could say this is a bellwether county of Washoe County, but she did do quite well with Latino voters, and she does have certainly more appeal to those Latino voters, but Republicans have certainly been able to win these races in the past. Now, this was Harry Reid's seat, who was around for quite a while, but if Republicans can get a good candidate, a lot of people have been floating the name of Brian Sandoval, the former governor who got 70% of the vote in 2014, but I don't think it's likely that he runs, but they do need a candidate. Maybe Dean Heller runs again. Possibly he could win. He did run ahead of Barack Obama by a lot, or Mitt Romney could say, back in 2012 when he ran in 2012, but I doubt he runs as well, which is why I'm, relegating this to the fourth best pickup opportunity, because while Republicans can win this state, they've had success here in the past, and they've had good candidates in the past, it's quite a stubborn and stagnant state for the Democratic Party, and it makes it quite difficult for Republicans to win. You have to make a lot of inroads in the Las Vegas area, because sure, you can win all these rural areas by 70% margins, but they only add up to, say, 100,000 votes, whereas Clark County's got hundreds of thousands of votes, so it's quite difficult to do, but Republicans certainly can't do it. And those are the four best pickup opportunities for the Republicans. After that, you'd basically have Colorado, which is not going to flip to the Republican Party. But now the best pickup opportunities for the Democrats. First is the state of Pennsylvania. Now, the state of Pennsylvania, of course, is going to be one of the most high-profile races in 2022. Currently, you have John Fetterman, who announced that he is running. He is the lieutenant governor of the state, and he is, quite a progressive figure. He's excited a lot of people in the Democratic Party, and I think that he's most likely going to win the primary. You have State Representative Malcolm Kenyatta. You have some other candidates that could run: Brendan Boyle, Christy Houlihan, Connor Lamb, Joe Sestak, Joe Torcella. Republicans really don't have that great of candidates. They've got Ryan Costello, who's a more moderate figure, but can he get the Trump base out? I'm not really sure about that. You've got a similar problem that you have in a lot of states. You either run a candidate who's more similar to someone like Pat Toomey, the current senator, that can appeal to the suburbs, do well in areas like Delaware, Montgomery, Bucks County. You can do well with those voters and, take it as an expense with rural voters, struggling with rural voters, or you can try and turn out that Trump base but do worse in the suburbs. And historically, Republicans in the state of Pennsylvania have not done that well with the latter route. So I think that they do have to run a more moderate candidate. Someone like Brian Fitzpatrick would definitely win, but there isn't much indication that he's going to run for this seat. And so overall, I think that this is certainly the best pickup opportunity for Democrats, purely because of the candidates so far. Even with a Republican-leaning year, it is an open seat, which is more independent of that. So I do think the Democrats have an opportunity to win this race. It could be a compensation for the Democrats in case they win, in case they lose the state of New Hampshire, and they could narrowly keep the Senate in 2022. But the second best pickup opportunity for Democrats is the state of Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin's quite an interesting state because you've got incumbent Republican Ron Johnson, and by Ron Johnson's actions, he acts like he wants to compete with Ted Cruz to be the most unpopular Republican senator in the country, along with, of course, Mitch McConnell, those other people. But really, his actions have not helped him so far. He's been in opposition to this stimulus bill and the last stimulus bill, and he's not really been too open to cooperating with Democrats overall. And he is quite a far-right senator, and that probably isn't going to bode well in the state of Wisconsin in 2022. But I think that he is still certainly favored to win. I think that he can get better margins than Trump did in the suburbs, and I think that he can capitalize on the trends that we've seen in the driftless area recently. And so I think that he is favored to win, but, Democrats, there have been speculation that some Democrats would be running for this race. Former Governor Scott Walker said that he isn't going to run, so, you can take that out of the equation. Some people are saying that the Lieutenant Governor of Wisconsin is going to run, Mandela Barnes. I think he would be certainly a good candidate, but can he appeal to the suburbs? Can he appeal to the driftless area? That's another question we're going to have to answer. Certainly right now, I would say Ron Johnson is favored, but that is the best, or the second best pickup opportunity for Democrats. And then the final opportunity, pickup opportunity for Democrats I'm going to do, Ohio, Iowa, Florida, not really pickup opportunity. So I'm just going to do the third best pickup opportunity for Democrats, which I think is the state of North Carolina. Now, currently in the state of North Carolina, you've got a couple candidates running. On the Republican side, you've got former Representative Mark Walker, and on the Democratic side, you've got State Senator Jeff Jackson. Now, there's been a lot of comparisons between Jeff Jackson and Cal Cunningham. Are they warranted? We'll have to wait and see. There's obviously were a lot of scandals with Cal Cunningham, maybe cost him the race, but that's a whole nother question. If Democrats ran someone like Roy Cooper would certainly be favored to win. If they ran someone like Anita Earlsley, former Supreme Court Justice, I don't think they'd be favored to win with any of these candidates. Deborah K. Ross ran before. Maybe Josh Stein could be a decent candidate, but, we'll just have to wait and see. But with a state senator versus a former representative in a state that's kind of similar to Nevada in the state that is in the sense that it's very stubborn, it's very stagnant. And while North Carolina has trended Democrat every election since 2004 relative to the national environment, Democrats have not gotten the victories that they had hoped for this year. They didn't win the state Senate, the state House. They didn't win the Senate race this year, but they do still have an opportunity to pick this seat up. And I think that while they're not favored, it is still their third best pickup opportunity. So those are the 7 seats which I've highlighted as the best pickup opportunities. These are really going to be the 7 main competitive seats. Sure, there's going to be some talk from the media that, Iowa's going to be competitive because, Barack Obama won it back in 2012, but don't listen to that nonsense. Iowa's not competitive. Ohio's not competitive. Florida's not competitive. Colorado's not competitive. None of those races are competitive. These races are the competitive states, and maybe not even all of these races are competitive states at this point. 2022 is not like a lot of the other Senate elections we've seen. There's no Doug Jones in Alabama. There's no Heidi Heitkamp in North Dakota. There are no equivalents of that in the 2022 Senate elections, and it's going to make the 2022 Senate elections very, very interesting. And of course, if you want me to keep talking about them, keep commenting down below saying, I like this video, I want to see more of it, and I will keep doing more of it. So thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys later.